Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a seriously dark, supernatural mystery that really digs into the ultimate cost of taking shortcuts in life. We're going to break down this incredibly intricate story full of stolen fortune, ancient entities, and a high-stakes survival game that's basically been happening in the shadows for centuries. Honestly, if you've ever felt completely beaten down by life and just wished for a break, the premise of this story is going to hit really close to home. So get comfortable because we are about to dissect the dangerous game of 7 notebooks.
Okay, so let's dive right into this. What if you could literally just steal someone else's luck? Not earn it, not grind for it, just steal it. It's the ultimate shortcut to success, right? I mean, imagine having this magic bullet that instantly shifts the universe's favor from the absolute luckiest person you know straight over to you. It's a wildly provocative hook, and it perfectly frames the desperate, kind of irresistible temptation at the very center of our narrative today. To really understand that temptation, we've got to look at our main character, Arav. He's 22 years old and completely out of options, like literally at rock bottom. He's failed his government exams 3 times, he lost his part-time job, and on top of all that, he is relentlessly compared to the neighborhood's golden boy. The proverbial Sharmaji's son who just never fails at anything. Life hasn't just handed Arav a bad hand, it's basically kicked him out of the casino entirely. He is completely desperate, which makes him the absolute perfect, most vulnerable target for a supernatural proposition.
Which brings us to the inciting incident. So Arav is walking home one day in this absolute cloud of frustration, and he trips over a strange black notebook on the street. Written in these glowing silver letters right on the cover are 2 words: luck, note. And no, this isn't some cute motivational journal. The first page straight up declares that luck is an energy, and it can be stolen. If you write someone's name in this book, their fortune is transferred to you for exactly 24 hours. At first, Arav just laughs it off. He thinks it's a ridiculous prank. But well, curiosity is a seriously powerful thing.
But of course, this incredible power comes with a strict contract. And as Arav reads through these initial 4 rules, I really want you to notice how dangerously ambiguous these terms are. Step 1 is simple enough: write the name. But step 2 introduces the dark side. The target's luck doesn't just vanish, it actively turns into misfortune. Step 3 states that a price must be paid for every single use, and step 4, the price is completely unknown beforehand. Arav actually jokes that this reads like the terms and conditions of a sinister Netflix series, but he decides to test it anyway.
And the results are immediate, and honestly, pretty chilling. Arav targets Vivin Malhotra, this guy who is basically the main character of reality, the kind of guy who never even gets stuck in traffic. Well, the very next day, Arav's life does a complete 180. He gets his old job back, randomly finds a 2,000 rupee note, and discovers a grading error, which means he actually passed his exam. But then he checks social media. Vivin, the golden boy, has crashed his bike, shattered his phone, and completely ruined a crucial interview, all in the exact same day. Arav realizes with absolute dread, no way, the notebook actually works. So, for a few days, Arav is just riding high, using the book to fix his life. But then, the bill comes due. Rule 3 activates. A message appears in the book saying the price has been exacted. Immediately, and I mean instantly, Arav gets a panicked phone call from his mother. His uncle has been in a severe, sudden accident. As he's trying to process this horror, a new, super sinister line bleeds onto the notebook's page. Every good fortune brings misfortune. That's the crucial point where Arav finally understands this isn't a free ride at all. It's a highly transactional curse.
And the terror escalates so rapidly from here. That same night, an even more terrifying message literally writes itself into the notebook. The next owner is watching you. Suddenly, the power in Arav's room cuts out. He's plunged into total darkness, looks at his window, and sees a stranger, this old man in a black coat, standing out on the empty street, staring directly up at him with this horrifying knowing smile. Just like that, the story shifts from a fantasy shortcut to a full-blown psychological thriller.
This is where we get a massive zoom-out moment in the narrative. Arav eventually tracks down and confronts this old man at an abandoned railway colony. And the old man drops a bomb. He reveals he isn't the next owner, he's actually a survivor of a much larger system. He introduces Arav to this concept of the Merchants of Fate. See, this isn't just one cursed object. It is a deadly, centuries-old survival game. The old man tells Arav that every 100 years, people are given these items, become complete slaves to their power, and eventually die or just vanish.
The sheer scale of what Arav has stumbled into is absolutely terrifying. The dangerous game of 7 notebooks isn't just about luck. The old man lists them out for him. There's luck, fear, memory, dream, shadow, time, and fate. Each single notebook controls a fundamental, basically godlike power over reality. Arav isn't just dealing with a cursed diary anymore, he is unknowingly holding one of the 7 keys to an ancient, world-altering puzzle. And we instantly see just how terrifying the other players in this dangerous game of 7 notebooks truly are. Right as the old man is explaining the rules, the wall of the ruined building literally explodes. A young, totally innocent-looking 23-year-old girl steps through the dust. She pulls out a silver-lettered black notebook of her own, the memory note. With a single swift stroke of her pen, she erases 10 years of the old man's memories, just like that. He is left standing there completely blank, having forgotten everything. The stakes are unimaginably high now, and Arav is completely outmatched.
Through encounters like this, Arav discovers the final lethal mechanics of the game. Rule 5 explains why he's being hunted in the first place. When too much luck is hoarded, it automatically attracts the original owners. But it's Rules 6 and 7 that really lock the trap. When the 7 notebooks come into proximity, the final selection begins. And Rule 7 is the ultimate battle royale condition. In this final selection, only one owner can survive. So unknowingly, just by using the luck note to pass a test, Arav has entered a death match with people who can control time, erase minds, and manipulate reality itself.
Then the narrative hits us with a massive plot twist. Arav gets pulled into an alternate reality by the Dream User, who turns out to be a 200-year-old player trapped in the body of a young man. And the Dream User reveals the dark truth. The players aren't gods. They aren't even really in control at all. The 7 notebooks are actually elaborate traps. They were forged by an ancient dark entity that literally feeds and grows stronger on human desires and greed. Every single time a user activates a notebook, they are just feeding this monster. They're all just pawns on a board.
Everything finally culminates at a place called the Midnight Observatory. Following a clue he got from his dream, Arav arrives at this ancient, ruined hilltop structure. And for the first time, all 7 users, luck, fear, memory, dream, shadow, time, and fate, are gathered in one single place. Their proximity triggers the final event. The notebooks start glowing, the ground shakes, and they summon the actual creator of the game, a massive, faceless entity made of pure, suffocating darkness. The final selection is finally at hand.
But right at the climax, Arav notices something that literally everyone else missed. He opens his luck note and sees a hidden rule right there on the very last page. The day the owner abandons their luck, the game ends. Actually, this is where the brilliant philosophical truth of the story is revealed. For centuries, people played this game trying to win, trying to dominate each other. But the only actual way to beat the game isn't to win it. It's to voluntarily surrender the power.
Arav shouts this realization out to the others, which really just highlights the ultimate tragedy of human greed. The other 6 users absolutely refuse. The fear user won't give up immortality. The time user won't give up altering history. The shadow user wants world domination. They are way too addicted to their shortcuts. But Arav? He remembers his painful, difficult, totally normal life. He remembers all his failures, and he accepts them. He realizes that holding on to the false hope of magical shortcuts is actually way worse than just facing a hard reality.
So, he makes the ultimate sacrifice. While this dark entity is laughing, actively feeding off the intense greed of the other 6 players, Arav takes his pen. He doesn't target an enemy, he targets himself. He writes Arav Sharma into the luck note,
permanently and willingly stripping himself of all the stolen fortune, magic, and luck he had accumulated. He completely drains himself of the entity's twisted energy.
The reaction is instantaneous and explosive. Because human greed and desire are the entity's literal only food source, Arav's act of pure, selfless renunciation starves it entirely. For the first time in history, a notebook turns to ash. Then the other 6 notebooks shatter. The massive entity of pure darkness screams and just dissolves right into nothingness. By simply refusing to play, Arav single-handedly shatters a centuries-old survival game, returning all those godlike users back into completely ordinary, powerless human beings.
Which brings us to the aftermath. Jump forward 1 year later, and we see Arav back in his city. He isn't a millionaire, he doesn't have any magical abilities, but you know what? For the first time, he is genuinely happy. He relies entirely on his own hard work now. If he succeeds, he earns it. If he fails, he doesn't blame it on some lack of supernatural luck. It perfectly connects all these wild anime-style supernatural elements back to a highly relatable, real-world lesson. Our fate is something we have to earn, not steal.
The explainer leaves us with this incredibly powerful final image. Arav is walking through a park and spots a brand new, mysterious notebook just sitting under a bench. He pauses, smiles to himself, and simply walks away, knowing that some shortcuts are really just traps. Which leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought to ponder today. Knowing the true cost of taking the easy way out, if you found a notebook of absolute power today, would you have the strength to walk away? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and as always, keep learning.